Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Civil Service School. Today, we will learn about global climate treaties and global climate scenario for UPSC CSE. So, Montreal Protocol 1987. This was the first institutional protocol to check global greenhouse gas emissions. So, ratified by every country, Montreal is a city in Canada. Ratified by every country to stop producing substances that damage ozone layer. As for example, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. This protocol is mainly concerned about ozone layer depletion. So there is an Kigali Amendment to Montreal Protocol in 2016, and Kigali Amendment is for reduced production of HFC, hydrofluorocarbon. After this Montreal Protocol and banning of CFC, global companies started using hydrofluorocarbon as an alternative to CFC, and HFC is also detrimental to ozone layer. So, for this amendment, HFC was also banned. Hydrofluorocarbon was also banned. Next, UN Framework Convention of Climate Change, UNFCCC 1992. This was the first universally accepted convention to check global greenhouse gas emission. This conference was held in Rio. So this is also called Rio 1992. So aim was to stabilize concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. That means that greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, CH4, methane, ammonia, concentration of these gases need to be stabilized and ratified by 197 countries. Established annual forum called Conference of Parties. So whatever COP like COP20 is for Paris Climate Agreement. Whatever COP20, COP19 we are getting nowadays are actually annual conference under UNFCCC. So there is a provision of annual forum under this UNFCCC, and these are called COP, Conference of Parties. There is a fund called Global Environment Fund, which is managed by this convention, and this convention is based on the principle of common but differentiated responsibility and respective capability. So whatever global convention protocol and global climate change agreements are there, all of these are based on some principles, and one of those are common but differentiated responsibility. That means common responsibility is to reduce greenhouse gas emission, but why it is differentiated? Because capability of all the countries are not same. USA is also polluting, India is also polluting, but being a developed country, USA has more financial and technical prowess than India. So common responsibility is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but responsibility of USA is higher than India because of its capability. Differentiated responsibility and respective capability. That means common responsibility but differentiated responsibility as per their capability. And one thing is that polluters pay. That means whoever is polluting, those have to pay. Suppose India is polluting, India will pay. USA is polluting, yes, USA will pay. China is polluting, China will pay. European Union is polluting, European Union will pay. So as a result of this UNFCCC, results are Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. So Kyoto Protocol was formulated in 1997, but it came into force since 2005. So this is the Kyoto is a city in Japan. So this is the first legally binding treaty. Developed countries will reduce emission by an average of 5% below 1990 level. Developed countries will reduce emissions. As per this protocol, developing countries will also reduce pollution, but there is no compulsion on developing countries. So this is one cliche point on this Kyoto Protocol. So established system to monitor countries' progress. No compulsion for developing countries. As for example, China and India, although they are also polluting. So this is one point of contention for developed countries, because developed countries will have to reduce emission by 5% below 1990 level. So whatever pollutions were there in 1990, now as Kyoto Protocol came into force in 2005, so developed countries obligation is that they have to reduce emissions by 5% of 1990 level, but there is no compulsion for developing countries. So for that reason, USA is not a signatory. Previously, USA ratified the Kyoto Protocol, but after that, because of these contentions, they are not a signatory to Kyoto Protocol. There is a fund called Adaptation Fund. For this fund is around $520 billion. So Adaptation Fund for climate adaptation and resilient activities. So under Kyoto Protocol, fund created is Adaptation Fund, around $520 billion fund. So this fund is financed by Clean Development Mechanism. CDM is the main source of income. So what is Clean Development Mechanism? So Clean Development Mechanism is certified emission reduction units. Certified emission reduction units that may be traded in emissions trading schemes. So Clean Development Mechanism. Suppose certified emission reduction units. Suppose 1 million, suppose 1 ton of carbon dioxide is equal to 1 unit. Certified emission reduction units. Suppose a company, suppose that company is Tata Steel. Tata Steel needs to, suppose Tata Steel needs to, and one company is Reliance. Suppose Tata Steel needs 500 certified emission reduction units. Certified emission reduction units. Suppose Tata Steel's pollution is high, so they need 500 certified emission reduction units. And suppose Reliance, their need is 300 certified emission reduction units. Suppose total allocation for Tata Steel is 500 CER and for Reliance also 500 CER. Then what Reliance can do? Reliance can sell that extra 200 certified emission reduction units to Tata Steel through emission trading schemes. And as a result of that, Reliance will get some money, and from that money, around 2% commissions will be taken by Adaptation Fund. So this is Clean Development Mechanism. So there is Paris, next is Paris Climate Agreement 2015. Its aim is to prevent global average temperature from rising 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Whatever temperature was there in pre-industrial level, so its aim is to keep it below 2% of the pre-industrial level. Suppose in pre-industrial level temperature was 25 degree Celsius. So as per this agreement, this global temperature should not rise above 27 degree Celsius. So efforts to keep it below 1.5 degrees Celsius of pre-industrial level. If possible, their temperature should be below 1.5 degrees Celsius. And from 2050, world will be carbon neutral. Means there will be no net greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Whatever greenhouse gas we are producing, that greenhouse gas is sink. That greenhouse gas sink through different maneuvers. So from 2050, world will be carbon neutral. So requires all countries to set emission reduction pledges. These are voluntary, called intended nationally determined contribution. These are voluntary. And global stocktake. After every 5 years, countries will examine their INDCs. So after every 5 years, countries will analyze whether they are able to meet their pledges. Whatever pledge they had done as INDC, whether they are able to meet those INDCs or not, that will be analyzed by each country voluntarily, but no enforcement mechanism. So not party to the agreement: Angola, Eritrea, Iran, Iraq, Libya, South Sudan, Turkey and Yemen. Angola, Eritrea are African country, Iran, Iraq is Asian country, Libya is African country, South Sudan African country, Turkey is both European and Asian, and Yemen is an Asian country. So Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. So this is a UN body. It got 2007 Nobel Peace Prize. So previously there was an Indian as chairman of IPCC. His name was R.K. Pachauri, Rajendra Kumar Pachauri. Globally, volunteers, scientists, independent researchers contribute to these IPCC works. So whatever targets are set by UNFCCC, those targets are analyzed by IPCC and they give insights about those targets. So there is one Green Climate Fund. This was established by Cancun Agreement, that is COP26. Cancun is a city in Mexico. So as per Green Climate Fund, developed countries will give $100 billion per year by 2020. So developed countries will collect money from each of them and they will give $100 billion per year by 2020 for climate finance to developing countries. So developed countries will give to developing countries. So this is recently in news because India is demanding that $100 billion finance from developed countries to establish climate resilient infrastructure and to mitigate climate risk. But developed countries are not garnering that amount as of now. This is a point of contention in global climate diplomacy. So there is one is green bond. The green bond is for raising capital to fund green projects. Bond are those things which are issued by companies, governments to collect money from investors, to gain capital from investors. As a result of that, whenever bonds are sold, there will be a fixed interest rate that is called coupon rate against that bond. So companies can issue green bond to raise capital to fund green projects like renewable energy projects. Suppose there is a project which will reduce greenhouse gas emission. So companies issue these bonds to raise capital. So reducing greenhouse gas emissions is not only a duty of governments, it is the duty of all of us. So companies, multinational companies and all companies, local governments are also can be a part of this through issuing green bond. So there is a term called carbon pricing, putting a price on carbon. So whatever carbon I am releasing to the atmosphere, I have to pay a price for that, and that is called carbon pricing. Two types. One is emissions trading systems. We have discussed already the example of Tata Steel and Reliance. So Tata needs suppose Tata needs more CER, certified emission reduction certificates, and Reliance have excess certified emission reduction certificates. Then Reliance can sell that certified emission reduction certificates to Tata and Tata will give money to Reliance and this trading is done in stock exchange, in emission trading exchange. So two types of carbon pricing: emissions trading systems and carbon taxes. Tax rate on greenhouse gas emissions or carbon content on fossil fuel. In India, there is a tax on coal. So whatever carbon content is in fossil fuel, that will be taxed. This is called carbon tax. So global carbon index. First ever index is produced by IHS Markit. So there is no government body like internationally recognized body like World Bank, WHO, UN, who produce this global carbon index. This index is produced by private companies like Standard and Poor's, Moody's. This first index is produced by IHS Markit. Suppose Nielsen is producing this global carbon index. Suppose Crygil Research is producing global carbon index, but presently first ever index is produced by IHS Markit, global carbon index. It is a benchmark for the global price of carbon credits. These carbon credits are sold globally, so there have to be some price in global carbon exchanges, and that based on that price, this carbon index is produced by IHS Markit. So this is one act of government of India, CAF Act, Compensatory Afforestation Act 2016. Prior to this CAF Act, there was one called CAMPA, Compensatory Afforestation Management Authority. So as per this act, suppose a company is developing 1 hectare of forest land for industrial purpose, then they have to keep aside similar amount 1 hectare of another forest land. They have to develop another 1 hectare of forest land as forest area. Suppose 1 hectare is diverted for industrial use, then 1 hectare of degraded forest area will be covered as forest land. So this is called compensatory afforestation. So as per Compensatory Afforestation Act, whatever money government is getting from companies for compensatory afforestation, they have to give that money to states. States will get the major share for disaster, for climate change resilient infrastructure, and for developing infrastructure which will help in mitigating climate change. As per this act, states should get the major share. Suppose a company is not developing 1 hectare of forest area, then they have to pay some price to government of India, and those amounts will be directly sent back to states, different states of India. So this is CAF Act. So these are some statements for mains perspective. This statement you can use in introduction of writing mains answer. This statement you can write in conclusion of mains answer, and these are some solutions for climate change. In a 2018 special report, the IPCC predicted that without dramatic reductions in carbon emissions, the world will hit 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming between 2030 and 2052. This is a fact, and you can use it in introduction. The European Union, Japan and South Korea, for example, aim to be climate neutral. Not climate neutral, this should be carbon neutral by 2050, while China has pledged to reach that goal by 2060. This is a futuristic conclusion. You can use it in conclusion. So way forward, there are some solutions. Climate Club of Nations, following obligations and penalizing those who don't join or unable to meet obligations. Climate Club of Nations. Suppose some countries are forming a Climate Club of Nations. So whatever other countries, whenever some other countries will join that climate club of nations, they will get some more incentives. And if they are unable to meet their obligations, they will be penalized. And those who don't join that climate club of nations will be disincentivized, will be penalized by those members of the climate club of nations. Suppose some countries, suppose basic countries, Brazil, South Korea, India, China, Brazil, South Africa, India, China. Suppose basic countries is forming a climate club of nations. Brazil, South Africa, India, China. Suppose basic countries are forming a climate club of nations. Suppose one country, South Korea, South suppose these basic countries will give some incentives whenever to their companies. Suppose South Korea did not join this basic alliance of climate club of nations, then South Korea will be disincentivized by these basic countries in climate matters. And whenever one of these countries are unable to meet obligations, then that country will be penalized on the basis of this set of rules, but that penalty may be lesser than these outsider members. So this is called climate club of nations. This is one solution for reducing global greenhouse gas emissions. So corporations and local government should set target for reducing emissions. MNCs and local governments and small organizations can also help to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions. So that much for today. If you have any question, you can directly send it to me. So if you are benefited from our service, please don't forget to like, follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join our Telegram channel. Thank you dear experience.